Hello fantasy faithfuls, and welcome to the third team score projection video of the year featuring the Cleveland Browns. The players I will be focusing on Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Odell Beckham Jr, Jarvis Landry, and David Njoku. First off, we need to know how many targets and carries the players will have to share in 2019. To arrive at these numbers, I've analyzed the 2019 opponents' play trends from the last 2 years. The Browns are playing teams that combined give up the 6th least amount of passes in the entire league. Combining this with the team's own playing trends, and we arrive at 392 rush attempts and 532 pass attempts. By analyzing the Browns' play calling from the last 3 years and adjusting for additions of players and for the Kitchens, we see that the main share of targets will go to wide receiver 1 and 2, with the number 1 tight end get 15% of the targets. The number 1 back usually has 49% of share of all carries, and their RB2 25%, a good place to start as Hunt is suspended for such a long time.
Second down, goal at the 6. Chubb out of the backfield, but Mayfield has other designs to the back of the end zone. Caught with a touchdown!
First off, we need to look at Baker Mayfield. He will have 532 pass attempts and 54 carries. Breaking down his passing for its own projection, but also for everyone that catches the ball. At first glance, he looks like any other quarterback. More throws to the right side of the field than the left, which I'm strongly against. But he throws 8% more deep throws than the average quarterback. That is huge, especially for a young guy, and the deep right is perfect for fantasy points. Furthermore, he's right now league average in his completion rate in the deep zones, so he throws more deep than anyone else, and he is accurate like an average guy, which is a plus. The yards per completion deep is superstar numbers over the middle and to the left, while he's a little lackluster on throws to the right. That is a bit of a concern, but with a superstar receiver coming in, I can see this changing. His touchdown rate from the last year was 5.5%, which is 0.1% above the league average. Perfect in my book, not too high and not too low. He's very reliable in this stat. Mayfield's one-game floor is 11.5 points and ceiling 22.3 based on all the games he played in league. This is the 9th highest floor, and for a young guy with a small sample size, this is still a very good indication of scoring stability, even if the ceiling isn't the highest if you compare it to other stud quarterbacks. From his own passing, the pass catcher's abilities, his rushing trends, and the opponents he will face in 2019, we arrive at a score projection. Mayfield will score 171 points from his passing, 18 from rushing, 116 from touchdowns, and 275 in total.
First kick. First carry of the game for Nick Chubb. Chubb is inside the 30, the 20, and he takes it all the way, 63 yards.
Next up is Nick Chubb with 194 carries and 58 targets. Breaking down his rushing to 7 running lanes, we see that his rushing patterns were not what you would call average last year. He ran most of his runs in the B gap to the right, meaning outside the right guard. Only 5 running backs had a higher percentage of runs go there, and one of them was his teammate, Duke Johnson. It's safe to say that there is a good reason for the Browns to keep pounding the ball outside the right guard. Chubb averaged 5.5 yards per carry there, one of his absolute best running lanes. Overall, his numbers look great. Least runs bounced to the outside, where he was the least productive. But looking at all the teams the Browns will face in 2019, compare that to every other running back, and Chubb has the most difficult schedule in the entire NFL. That is a huge concern. And it's a worrying stat that Chubb, through his short NFL career, has scored more points against bad rush defenses with losing records. So there's some red flags, and we shouldn't crown him as a rushing champion just yet. His touchdown rate last year was 4.2%, 15th highest in the league. So a reliable touchdown scorer, but he's not just a touchdown guy like some other running backs out there. Looking at his receiving, we see that he is very good at catching passes, hauling in way above 50% of his targets to the outside short zones, while the middle looks terrible. He doesn't have yards per catch to indicate he will be producing much with these passes, more old school ground and pound. Chubb's one-game floor is 1.5 points and ceiling 20.3. These are reverse numbers from Mayfield, a very high ceiling and a much too low floor that was impacted by the games he wasn't the main back in. From his own rushing, receiving, the team's blocking abilities, Mayfield's passing trends, and opponents in 2019, I project Nick Chubb to score 97 points from the ground, 25 from the air, and 66 from touchdowns, with a combined total of 188. I would like to take a second to remind you to hit that like button, leave a comment what you think about this video, and subscribe to the channel. I love every interaction I have with y'all, and every little bit helps me put out even more content. The Browns have a bunch of pass catchers that will see a huge amount of targets, but these three are the ones that I want to focus on. From the Browns market share, OBJ will see 138 targets, Landry 108, and Njoku 82, but this can of course change with injuries, as we all know. OBJ and Landry stays pretty even in catches, even with OBJ getting 30 more targets, and Njoku will have roughly the same as last year. If Beckham didn't arrive, this would have been higher. From these catches, Beckham will gain 1,063 yards, Landry 830, and Njoku 642. Not game-breaking numbers, but we should be wary with assuming superstar numbers with this many changes on the team. I predict their touchdowns as follows: 8, 5, and 4. Njoku will still be a huge red zone threat, and with the addition of Beckham, Landry will actually catch some of his red zone targets as he will have more space. To get more data on these three guys, check out the Fantasy Snapshot bundle on csdfantasy.com/fantasy-snapshot.
And Mayfield stepping up because he sees something deep. He does, and the ball is going to be caught. Touchdown by Jarvis Landry.
Lastly, a final look at their projected fantasy points for this year in relation to 2018. The only player that would have finished in top 10 with his projection in 2018 is David Njoku. The rest of the guys are kind of mid-range finishes. Of course, this can change depending on what other teams do as well, but it's a good indicator of what to expect. I don't want to overvalue the Browns receivers just because I think Mayfield is looking like a stud. He will still have to grow into the league and get to know these guys a bit more. I say be wary of a team that is this hyped when it comes to fantasy. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more weekly content. Hello Fantasy Faithful, I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to check out more of them right here and here. In case you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat.